Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D Real coming at you with another Be Real with D Real, where edutainment explains it. I do a lot of perusing on different social media platforms, and I look at conversations that people have regarding superheroes, fantasy, that sort of thing. And rather than jump off into those conversations and argue and debate somebody down or get argued or debated down, observe what they're talking about and make a video. Real simple. We will get into it. It probably won't even be a very long video, but we're going to get into it. And before we do, let's do what we need to do so we can do what we want to do. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page so that when new material comes out, you get it. If you digging what a brother shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. Comment, like, subscribe, and share why. Because edutainment's what I do. And I'll be edutaining on the subject of immortality. There are extremely long-lived beings, Immortality. What do we define immortality as? Let me give you a working definition of immortality so we understand what we're talking about here. Immortality, immortal. The word immortal means living forever, never dying or decaying. Easy enough to understand? Okay, so when I say immortal, that's what I'm talking about. People who, and understand, immortal does not mean indestructible. What did I just say? Living forever and never decaying. So if there is no destructive process that comes into play, and even with some beings, that doesn't even matter. Some of them, as you'll find out, resurrect naturally, or their powers are to resurrect. Case in point, we're talking about immortal. We're talking about something that through outside means or infection or something increase the life of an otherwise organic being. First guy comes to mind, at least for me, that's the first guy to come to mind. Vandal Savage, 10,000 plus years. Okay, and if you don't blow him up, destroy him, or do something to him some kind of way, or disperse a significant amount of his molecular structure to the point where he can't reintegrate, where he can't regenerate, where he can't do whatever it is that makes him extremely long-lived, unless there is some kind of outside divine or supernatural intervention. That guy right there. Nobody wants him in death realms, and he's been rejected by death itself. Then on top of that, the man has one of the best, if not the best, healing factors in all the comics. I know I'm going to catch flack for that one. But that is a perfect example of immortality. All right? When we're talking about immortality and we're talking about not decaying, who pops up in your head? That guy, Vlad Dracula. He doesn't decay. Doesn't mean he can't be killed. We've seen Dracula die and resurrect multiple times throughout comics. Look, he's even got a different look than what he had in Tomb of Dracula back in the 70s. Another example of immortality. So if you don't drive a stake through his heart and expose him to, well, it doesn't even matter about sunlight anymore. Dracula has always been able to survive in sunlight, according to the Bram Stoker novel. It wasn't until the Nosferatu movie, I think the silent movie Nosferatu, that was the first time we started talking about sunlight doing anything to vampires. Lesser vampires, but not Dracula. He's walking around soaking in sunlight. Anyway, probably the best example I can think of immortality, that guy right there, the devourer of worlds himself, Galactus. Galactus is so old, he survived the destruction of a previous universe. But very much like Dracula, Galactus and his immortality hinge on consumption. Well, not until recently. If what the Ultimates did for Galactus still holds true in comics, I'll have to follow up and see. But Galactus was sort of an energy vampire, consuming the life energy of planets. Dracula, in very much the same way, consumes the life energy of living beings. So, in order for Dracula to remain immortal, in order for Galactus to remain immortal, they got to consume things. Now, an example of somebody who's immortal and ain't got to do nothing, it's in the name, Mr. Immortal. But we don't talk as much about Mr. Immortal because that's his only power. Old Craig Hollis, he can die and come back. Wow. Okay, Craig. That's nice, but I mean, what was the purpose of making this character? I guess is what I ask myself sometimes. He's so unnecessary. I mean, he's immortal. What else? And he's immortal. And I would be remiss talking about the reality of immortality if I didn't mention true immortals. Asgardians, Olympians, and whatever other race of extra dimensional beings who were worshipped as deities. They are immortal and indestructible. I believe there are some immortals who are indestructible in their home realm. Then there are other immortals who are indestructible on Earth. So, conditional immortality? Immortality does not mean you are indestructible. And a lot of people take that, as just, because these guys have knockdown dragouts, man. And I don't think one's ever really killed the other, but I'm pretty sure that if the conditions lined up and somebody was bloodlusted, like, Blood and Thunder, they could probably do it. Now, do y'all understand what immortal means? Immortal does not mean indestructible. It just means you're going to live forever and you're not going to decay. So immortals can be destroyed. Immortals have been destroyed. Immortality is not I'm gonna live forever, unless there's conditions attached to it, like in the case of Deadpool or Mr. Immortal. And you have to do something to maintain that immortality. Make sense? Edutainment explained it. I'm glad. So we won't have this conversation anymore about what immortality is or isn't. Doesn't just mean you live forever. Mean you don't decay either. But it doesn't mean a significant amount of power exerted against you won't destroy you. Some people can resurrect from their quote unquote deaths. Some of them stay dead. That is the weird and quirky nature of immortality. That's it for now, y'all. But fret not. I will be coming at you with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good. Be good to each other.